A Washington, D.C. transit police officer has been arrested and charged with attempting to aid ISIS. This is the first time a member of the U.S. law enforcement community has ever been arrested for supporting the Islamic terror group. Transit officer Nicholas Young, who has worked for the D.C. Transit Police for more than a decade, allegedly tried to send $245 to ISIS using a digital gift card. Tried to do this last month, but the FBI intercepted the payment. Joining me now, Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff Paul Babeu. Thank you for joining us. There are reports, Sheriff, that this officer had been under surveillance going back to 2010, but authorities say there was never any threat by him working in law enforcement. You work in law enforcement, and this, you know, there's so many officers. This is one man, but how could that be? How could he want to send money to ISIS and not be a threat if he's working in the police force?
Right. Well, he is converted as a Muslim, and what's telling, not that by itself, but more important, is in 2011, he has traveled twice to Libya.
Right.
And by his own words, to be a part of the overthrow of Gaddafi at that time, CBP, Customs Border Protection, actually searched his bags when he was flying over, and they found a Kevlar helmet and body armor going over. Now, in law enforcement, that's a clue. They should have questioned him to find out further. And then, I'm a sheriff. I have 600 employees. I would want to know that information, and I wonder if the federal agents ever gave that information to the Metro Transit Police Chief. I doubt they did.
You mentioned his travel to Libya in 2011 twice, and what they found at that time, the body armor and other gear. It almost harkens. There was a Saturday Night Live skit, what, 20 years ago, where they pretend that the TV character Buckwheat gets shot. And they ask the people who knew the alleged shooter, did you think he'd do it? And they say, yes, we knew he would do it. This is unbelievable. They find that kind of gear in the man's luggage. Did they notify? Do we know if they notified at least the D.C. Transit Police? Where did this break down? It seems to me somebody has got to explain why they did not continue to monitor this matter.
Correct. Not just that. Also, they interviewed him multiple times before this alleged transfer of money to ISIS. We knew that he had contacts with terrorist sympathizers that are well known, that have been a part of other operations here in the United States, and they never took care of the situation. Why was he working up until this week in the D.C. Metro Police when he's made these statements, when we know that he's taken other actions? He's told undercover and criminal informants that he has ways to sneak into government buildings and to bring a whole cache of weapons inside in order to release mayhem. That's troubling.
So let me ask you this.
This is where we need to be smarter about this and react before something actually happens.
So you actually appeared on Your World yesterday, and you spoke out against President Obama and the Customs and Border Patrol website, which you say is listing sanctuary cities here in the United States. Do you think illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, are actually using the site to find places where they might go undetected?
Not just them. More importantly, the sympathizers. It sends a message by the law enforcement agency that's charged with enforcing immigration law. It's absolutely, there is no law. They're actually telling them where to avoid. So all those people that are out here that are trying to find ways that they are not deported, there is no enforcement. Not only go to these buildings, but participate in parades and marches and protests.
This concept of sanctuary cities, doesn't it fly in the face of the Constitution? Because you have the governments of cities, San Francisco is one, saying we're going to violate the law. Shouldn't the administration or the Congress then start defunding sanctuary cities until they comply with U.S. law?
I'm all for that. This is lawlessness, and when you go at the very foundation of who we are as Americans, what's next? The law doesn't apply to people if they're illegals, and that's the problem here. And local, county, state law enforcement must work with our federal partners in law enforcement, that if we have criminal illegals, and this has happened in my county, we will not release them until we turn them over to federal authorities. I've even had murderers. I said, you will pick them up. Even if I have a judge's order to release them, I haven't released them until ICE comes, picks them up, and gets them out of this country. Most of the time, sadly, President Obama has released, now it's over 80,000 just in the last 2 to 3 years of dangerous, violent criminals who are illegals. These are the ones that Trump keeps talking about, the murderers, the rapists, the ones who've committed serious crimes. It's not all 20 million illegals who are here. That's not the case, but there's a number of very dangerous, violent criminals who are illegals that have no business being here, and President Obama has released them into our communities. He should be held accountable for this.
As I let you go, is it 20 million or 12 million? I thought the number was 12 million.
Well, this number, 12 million, has been 12 million for how many years now?
Okay.
That's where simple math tells you that it's closing in, if not in excess of 20 million.
Either way, it's a violation of current U.S. law. Sheriff Paul Babeu, thank you very much for joining us.